Okay, it's the next day and I have sealed up. I ran out of hydraulic cement, but I sealed up the corners and some of the side, as much of the sides with the hydraulic cement that I had, but basically the water level has not changed. Yeah, that didn't work. I bought more hydraulic cement, so we'll do a little more sealing later. But if that doesn't work, I'm probably gonna try what I don't think is the best way to do it, but I'll create a siphon, throw a valve somewhere in the middle, and try to control the flow using the valve. Well, things happen. I'm back in the basement. It's pretty damp down here, and other than the slate foundation, everything is wood. So I brought this dehumidifier from my old house, and I'm gonna run it 24/7. It's connected to this ghetto connector of a hose. But I'll replace that when I actually need to use my hose, which won't be until I have usable water. There's the dehumidifier hose, and I put it in this plant watering jug to make sure it's draining properly. While I was in the basement, I took out this rainwater collection bucket, and I noticed well, there was a dead mouse in there, and it was smelling pretty badly, so I threw that in the woods. I'm not really sure what this bag is. Okay, just some caps. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with this. Obviously I'm not gonna drink out of it, but you could use it to like water plants and stuff, maybe like 10 years down the line. Just kidding, maybe 2 years down the line, one if I'm lucky. Hey, I'm back at the well. Not the well. I think I found out what the proper word is for this structure. It's it's called a spring box. So hopefully I stop saying well and reservoir, and I guess I can still say dam, and I'll call it a spring box. As you can see, the water levels hasn't changed. My efforts to seal it, I mean, I was gonna try more, like I was gonna keep going, so I bought like 20 more pounds. Actually, the first time I bought 10 pounds of the hydraulic cement, and then I just bought 20 pounds a few days ago after I ran out. I haven't used it yet, but before I go too crazy with that, I was thinking, I don't think this spring box is sustainable long term. I feel it's way too big for its current flow rate. I'm guessing when this spring was super active, the water would just pour out of that pipe there that's rusted. And in fact, that wall might be another dam which had the original spring, and then somebody built this this additional wall to contain the water that was flowing out of that pipe. But as you can see, it's no longer flowing out of that pipe, but it does leak out of the bottoms. So I do feel the spring is still viable because it's filling up like 30 gallons in an hour or so. That's just a very rough estimate. But I think in order to do this spring box correctly, I basically have to blow it up and start over. So I don't have time to do that right now. I just need to get this thing working to a certain extent as fast as I can. So blowing this up and trying to make another one here, that's one option. And then I saw some other spots over there where it looks promising for another spring to be. So I could head over there and make like a little dam, much smaller than this one, that's more manageable, and I know what the hell's going on underneath. I could blow this one up and make a much smaller one here. That's much more manageable. I'm not gonna do that right now because that's like probably like a 1 week project. So the only quickie way that I could think of to try to get this working is so let's assume that the water is not seeping out the sides where the water level is, because like when you look over here, you see no evidence of water coming out the sides. I mean, I guess it's possible it's coming out the sides in the ground somewhere. Yeah, so I guess if that was the case, yes, it would be seeping out the sides under the ground because the hose is actually under the ground. But it's curious to me that the kind of two things that point me to the problem being something else is that I threw a few drops of vegetable oil in there the other day, and it would just sit on top. It wouldn't move at all. I feel like if it was leaking from the top area of the water, the vegetable oil would move towards that leak. But it was just totally stagnant. So I got to thinking, and my best guess at this point, I'm not going to say almost positive, like I said before, is that the water fills up. It comes up to like, let's say 30 gallons. And then 30 gallons of water weighs a lot. So it's creating a lot of downward pressure and also sideward pressure. So that pressure is causing the water to either go back upstream a little bit where the holes in the rock are, and then it seeps out the sides, or maybe it's the water is like slowly leaking out the bottom of this structure. So I thought, why don't I throw some big rocks in there, displace the water, and that will cause the water level to come up, and also it will cause less water pressure to be in this tank, and maybe that will keep the water level above that pipe. And that seemed like a simple thing to try. So that's my next plan. And I think the next plan after that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to seal again. Probably not. I think my next thing that I would try if that doesn't work is I'll just go with the siphon, and I'll put a valve at the bottom to control the water flow. Because I know that'll work. I just have to make sure like I have everything sealed so nothing bursts and starts leaking everywhere. I brought actually a shop vac up here. I took the filter off so it doesn't get wet. But basically I'm gonna swirl this around and get all the sediment to mix up, and then I'm gonna vacuum it out to try to clear the spring box right now of as much sediment as I can, and then after that I'll throw in my rocks. Okay, the shop vac, it worked really well for the first pump or vacuum out, but I think maybe some of the internal stuff got like wet, and it's no longer like making a good seal, I guess. So it doesn't have enough power after that first try to suck the water up. I probably should have just kept the filter in there. I don't have a wet filter. I only have like a dry filter that's like can handle a little bit of dampness. So I thought I would take it out first, but maybe I should have just left it and then thrown it away afterwards. But I got some sediment out of there. Now I'm going back up with my pump to finish the job. I won't be able to vacuum the bottom, but I think if I swirl it around, I can get a lot of that gunk out of the bottom. It was an ordeal, but I think I got most of the sediment. It's pretty murky down there because it's just been like agitated. So at some point the pump was getting pretty clogged, and I had to like clear it out every once in a while. So I think this like sludge is hydraulic cement, and I would have thought when the hydraulic cement goes to the bottom, or like as I was doing the sidewalls, some would just fall to the bottom, and I thought they would just harden up at the bottom, but apparently it just turned into that kind of sludge. I mean, it's supposed to seal things even underwater, so I'm not sure why that happened. My best guess is there was like too much dirt on the bottom and it mixed with the dirt, so it didn't set. But at some point, like after the water level was low enough, I just jumped in there and used my hands, and that seemed to actually work the best. So I think I'm gonna wait till this thing fills back up. Oh, also the sludge had gotten underneath all those rocks, and it was kind of clogging up the spring flow, so that wasn't good either. Actually, if you look at the spring right now, you can see water dropping from the rocks, so you know there's water coming out of there, fresh water. So I mean, like this water actually smells quite fresh. Like I was getting like splashed on all over the place, and it didn't really bother me at all. So what's next? I'm gonna wait till this fills back up. I'm gonna drain it one more time. I'm gonna use my hands one more time to get some of that sludge out, and then we'll try the rocks. I think this is worth an update. I pumped the water out again. I'm in the spring box, and I took one of the bigger rocks out from this wall, and there was just sludge all in there. So I don't think that's all from, or if any of it is from, the hydraulic cement. It must just be like dirt buildup and just turn to mud. So I'm trying to like get that sludge out. I mean, unfortunately, I don't really have a water supply. I mean, I wish I did. You know what? I think one thing I can do is I have a like a weed sprayer, and then I can pump that up and start spraying in there to see if I can clear up some of that sludge. But for now, I'll do it by hand, and then once this fills up again, I will pump the water out and maybe spray some of those rocks with the sprayer. Maybe that'll clean it up a bit. Okay, so luckily this beautiful creek is a part of my property. I've got my sprayer here. I brought a gallon jug so I can get the water and put it into the sprayer. But what I mean, I knew this was here, but so basically there's a pipe here, that someone set up on this creek. My friend thought maybe they were using it for mining bluestone, but he said like he didn't see any bluestone here, so he wasn't sure. I guess my next guess would be that whoever was living here before was hauling water because the spring wasn't working. You can actually probably back up a 4x4 and fill up like a giant water container using the water from this creek. So I'm gonna try to use this existing hose to fill up my sprayer. If that doesn't work, I will just use that. So I put the pipe in the water, put a rock on top of it, and let's see if it comes out the other end. This is interesting. There's an open end here, and there's an open end here, and then there's an open end there. So according to science, there should be one more open end somewhere. I will look around. My math or science is bad and I couldn't figure out the hoses, so I just used the gallon jug, and I got about, I can't read this, but I'll guess about 4 gallons in there. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Now I have this sprayer and I can use it to spray and clean a bunch of things. I mean, I'm not gonna drink out of it without treating it or filtering it, but at least I have like some more water supply that's more than buying stuff at the supermarket. Yeah, I wish the stream was not as wide. It's kind of too much spray, but it's working. Just in case you were wondering, it's a brand new sprayer. I mean, I've had it for years, but I've never used it. So there's no pesticides or anything in there to worry about. I actually got it to like clean my bikes when I was on the road and stuff, but never really needed to use it, so it came in handy. And actually the backpack feature was very nice because I could have it was like, I guess it's a 4-gallon pack, so there must have been 3 gallons of water in there. Would have been tougher to just lift it with my arms. Okay, so let me just finish cleaning this, and then we'll drain the water again and probably use my hands again to see if I can scoop up any more bigger pieces of mud. All right, so I've cleaned as much as I'm gonna clean. Again, like this, I'm thinking of this as a temporary solution, so I don't want to spend like, you know, if it was my final solution, I would probably spend, you know, like as long as it takes to make it right, but it's not. So it's cool seeing those like water dripping in. Fascinating. So I started to fill it with more rocks. There should be plenty of rocks around here, so probably buried under all the leaves. So I'll just start foraging and throwing them in here. I guess I'll wash them off first with the backpack sprayer. And again, the hope is that with the displacement of the water by the rocks, the water line will reach the outtake pipe. I don't know, from the inside it's an intake, from the outside it's a outtake. What's the right word? Tell me. Okay, so I filled it with a bunch of smaller rocks on the bottom, and I got 2 big slabs at the top. Really hoping this works. Oh, I also found while I was cleaning up, this came out of the sprayer bottle. It's like different nozzles and accessories. So yeah, maybe one of them's like more of a stream than a spray. Okay, so I'm actually really glad that I came down here to fill up this sprayer, because it gave me an idea that this can be kind of my fallback if the spring doesn't work out as soon as I had hoped. I do have to get the spring working, whether it's that spring or some other spring, or I have to drill a well. But it's proving to be more time consuming than I had hoped. So this could be my fallback, because I can carry back 5 gallons at a time. And when I get my pickup truck, I can clear that dirt road a little bit and actually drive down here and take back like, I don't know, like 50 gallons of water. And this point right here makes a great, that little waterfall makes a great collection point. I can fill this thing up like super fast. It takes like 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, like I can filter this water, I can boil it, I can put it in a solar shower, so I don't have to spend time going to the gym to take a shower. But hopefully, I'm still hoping that the last thing I did on the spring box is gonna work. That is somewhat promising. I mean, it's still below the hose, but as far as I can gather, it looks higher. I'm almost positive it's higher. So I brought up 4 gallons of water. I'm just gonna dump it in here. So 4 gallons didn't even really make a dent. It's like a little bit higher, I think. Yeah, so this thing is like bigger than it looks. I guess I just gotta wait. Oh, freaking bugs. I'm impatient, but I have to wait. It looks kind of gross, but the dirt will settle to the bottom, and I ordered a pool skimmer, so whatever's floating at the top, I'll just skim off. That's the current spring box. And then over here, you can see all these wet leaves, and there's no water, no wet leaves above this point. So that tells me most likely there's another spring in this area right above where the wet leaves are. So while that the current spring box is filling up, I'm gonna try to see where this water is coming out of. Okay, this is somewhat promising. As I said, I started digging kind of right below where the leaves are drier. And I don't know if you can see this, but there is some water flow. Yeah, there's water coming out from under this rock. And it's creating a puddle here where I dug a little hole. It doesn't look like much, but the idea is you're accumulating all of this water and putting it in the spring box over the course of the whole day. And that could be many, many gallons. So once you build the dam, you can figure out how many gallons per hour, or there's some measurement that you can do to see if it'll be enough water for you. So if the existing spring box doesn't work out, I would just build a little dam here, throw in a pipe, an overflow, and I got my water source. I mean, that might actually be easier than trying to fix whatever the hell's up there. Yeah, there's this huge rock here, this slate, and the water's coming from under there basically. And I think if I like dig around it more, there will be more water accumulating here like faster. I mean, I kind of knew that there was something here because from this point all the way down to the ditch way down there is all wet, but above it it's not wet. So the existing one I might just have to give up on. I mean, the thing is like almost full of rocks now, but it's still not reaching the pipe. It did go up, but not nearly as much as I had hoped. I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised when I wake up tomorrow. Yeah, this one's looking promising. You can see it's been like 10-15 minutes since I've been here last, and it's still flowing.